We're live? Great. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening for this amazing session that we're about to have. We're going to have a conversation about how to start earning in the blockchain economy, in the blockchain and crypto economy. And the reason why we're having this conversation is because a lot of people have been hearing about blockchain and crypto, but there's just a big gap when it comes to hearing about it and how it can be one can be able to monetize it, or how one can be able to make money out of it. And we got a lot of questions when we do our street interviews, and that's what led us to having this conversation. And we knew that we can't have this conversation only as Gochapa, as much as we're centered around education and just bringing information to people. We knew we had to partner with some of the experts within the industry, and I'll introduce my guests shortly. So yeah, part of the people who are on this panel are people who are pegged in the crypto and blockchain ecosystem in one way or another. And I'm sure as we continue having this conversation, you're gonna see where you can be able to position yourself if you've been looking into wanting to get into this space and wondering where can I join? How can I join? At what capacity can I be able to contribute? How can I be able to make money in this space? Yeah, so looking forward to having such an insightful conversation. I'm sure if you clicked on this link, you're also eager to learn and eager to see how can I be able to, make money in this economy. And yeah, we're so glad to be having this conversation tonight. So make sure you're seated in a comfortable space, you're cozy, it's at night. Get yourself a cup of coffee, a glass of water, some popcorns, whatever suits you. So, yeah, in the next 1 minute, I'm going to introduce my guests. They're somewhere waiting, they're already here. And I'm so excited to be having this conversation tonight. So as we progress, if you have any questions, please just drop them on whatever platform you're streaming from, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on X, whether it's on LinkedIn. Please just drop your questions over there. Then we're going to be able to see them. And yeah, we'll be able to ask our guests those questions. Yeah. All right. Reset. All right, our guests are streaming in. Please switch on your cameras. Hi, Nelly. Please unmute yourself, switch on your cameras, and unmute yourself. All right. I think we can start as the rest unmute and switch on their cameras. I thank you so much for making time to join us, our panelists. We're looking forward to having such an interactive and an engaging conversation on how we can be able to make money in the blockchain and crypto ecosystem. So if you can just jump right in and go through our introduction. I think I'll start with you, Arnold. If you can just briefly tell us about yourself, what you do, and yeah, as you're telling us that, if you can just tell us, if someone comes and asks you what blockchain economy is all about, someone who's hearing the word blockchain and crypto for the first time, what would you tell them blockchain
Great. So
economy
thank you
is?
so much, Faith. My name is Arnold Kelvin. For those who are seeing this face for the very first time, I'm an entrepreneur in many fields. I'm a crypto investor. I'm a crypto holder. I'm a crypto trainer, and I'm also a crypto content creator. I'm basically a jack of all trades in the field of cryptocurrency. And according to me, whenever someone asks about the word blockchain economy, what basically it implies is all about the digital world and money, because blockchain it all entails about dealing with ledgers, that is public domains where information is stored. But now you're like focusing it more on the money side. It's basically a digital world that involves moving money around, and also the aspect of new technologies coming up, things like smart contracts, all of that form like part of what you call the blockchain economy. So it's basically technology and money combining together to form the blockchain economy in general. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Arnold. Nelly, if you can just introduce yourself, what you do, and tell us, if someone who has not heard about blockchain economy asks you what blockchain or crypto economy is, how would you explain it to them?
Hi guys, I hope you can hear me clearly. My name is Nelly. I'm the co-founder at Ledger Lady, a women-led community, blockchain developer community. And apart from that, I'm a developer. And then when I think about, or when I talk about the blockchain economy, I'd like to describe it as, a new kind of digital world, like also Arnold, how Arnold said, one where people can work, create, trade, and earn, but without needing, permission from big companies or middlemen. So, in simple terms, it's just an internet-powered system where we can move freely as information does today, and it's powered by blockchain technology, which is like a shared distributed ledger that everybody can access and see, but no one can secretly change. And that means that there's a lot of trust, and we're not trusting people, but we're trusting code in some way. So yeah, in a blockchain economy, people get paid instantly from anywhere in the world just for contributing, whether you create digital art or you help secure a network. Let's say you're a node validator. Yeah, that's just my view of a blockchain economy. So just freedom and trust.
All right, thank you so much, Nelly. Over to you, Ochi.
Hi everyone. So my name is Ucheng. I'm one of the founders of a developer community called Web3 Clubs. Basically, what we do is that we help build founders and developers in the Web3 space. So we do a lot of training, mentorship, and we're also builders of Web3 products. So we run cohorts, and a lot of those cohorts have brought out a lot of founders and developers in the space. And yeah, so now we're just basically doing a lot of building and starting with startups. When I think about blockchain economy, I describe it with the main characteristics of blockchain, which are it's permissionless, right? It's transparent, uh, and really captures the idea of an ownership economy, right? So blockchain is an internet that basically allows people to do transactions, uh, in a transparent manner without requiring middle, a middleman or third parties, and that's where the permissionless aspect comes in. Also, the the architecture of the blockchain is such that it enables users of the blockchain to basically participate in the economy of the blockchain, meaning users get to own the information they put there. They can share it. Um, yes, so let me just say open, transparent, permissionless platform with a lot of opportunity to basically own a part of that uh, internet or technology, let me say.
All right. Thank you, Oching. Over to you, Sam. If you can just give us a brief introduction of who you are and what blockchain economy means to you.
Sure thing, Faith. First of all, thanks for having me, and thanks to our panel. This is a wonderful opportunity. Although I am not physically in Kenya, I'm very, very far away, but it is a wonderful opportunity to meet with you guys and meet with our viewers for listening in. So yes, blockchain offers a lot of opportunities when it comes to new economy, meaning as opposed to what is currently at works and what is available, meaning not just aside from the technology itself, it offers new opportunities, new job opportunities, such as intermediaries. You don't have to be a developer to be in the Web3 space. You could be a designer. You could offer your skills as a marketer. A lot of new projects that are popping up in Web3 space are offering new job opportunities and new skill sets to a new generation of entrepreneurs and IT specialists. So when it comes to that, I feel that the whole blockchain space is going to be offering a new genre of job opportunities to young Kenyans, Africa is the only continent that hasn't had an opportunity to really dive into the world of ICO or IEO, for example, meaning if you look at number of ICOs in Asia in the past 10 years, there were over 20,000 projects. In the US, there were over 10,000. In Europe, same number. But in Kenya, I've done some research, and there were less than 200 ICOs done from Africa, which shows that there's a big demand and more of a pent-up demand that is soon to grow into a real opportunity for young Kenyans to really dive into. So I'm very excited for the opportunities that we'll be looking ahead, not very long term, but in a very, very near term.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam. That's a great perspective. Engineer Wanjiku, if you're with us, if you can just briefly introduce yourself, what you do, and what blockchain economy means to you. Wanjiku, are we together?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So before I even start, I'm experiencing some power outage. So I'm actually here hoping that my laptop holds to the end, but we'll go anyway. So just to start off, my name is Wanjiku Karanja. I'm an electronic engineer. But besides that, for the purposes of this conversation, I'm an investor, a crypto trader, a content creator, but a different type of content creator because I major in blogs, and I'm also an educator. So just to explain what blockchain economy is, for me to explain blockchain economy, I'll have to explain what blockchain is actually. So blockchain, in simple terms, is like a digital notebook where all transactions are written and they are permanently put. And on top of that, everyone has access to it. So in short, it is open source. And to bring this conversation close to home, I'll basically use an example with M-Pesa. So M-Pesa, for a layman's person, M-Pesa is digital money owned and controlled by Safaricom. So in short, M-Pesa is centralized. And all these transactions that we do in M-Pesa are recorded by either an M-Pesa agent or the messages that we receive after, the messages we receive as a receiver or a sender of these finances. So that is our big ledger. Those three, the transactions that are done that are recorded by the M-Pesa agent, or the messages that we, the receivers or the senders, get. Then on the security part, we have a PIN or our biometrics. So just to relate that to blockchain now, crypto now is our digital money, just like M-Pesa, our digital money. But with crypto, it is owned, and it is not owned by anyone or controlled by anyone. So it is decentralized. And all the transactions, just like the M-Pesa agent who records our transactions, but in crypto, all transactions are recorded and stored in a big record book that we can call now a blockchain. And for the security part now, this is where the concept of cryptography comes in. Basically, that is how I can describe the blockchain. Thank you. Faith, your mic is muted.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. And the way I've spoken. Yeah, I'm saying thank you so much for that introduction, everyone. I'm saying clearly we all have different perspectives of what blockchain economy is. And yeah, looking forward to having this conversation and now seeing how we can be able to look at blockchain not only as a technology, but also as an opportunity for people to earn, as also an empowerment opportunity, and also an opportunity for people to learn. Yeah, so we'll kickstart the conversation. And I'm gonna start with Sam. As we mentioned, I'm gonna give him a first few minutes to just tell us about what GoChapa is and what inspired him to start GoChapa in Kenya and in Africa, considering he's not in Africa. Yeah, so Sam, if you can just tell us briefly what problem you saw in the market and what gap GoChapa is filling in the Kenyan and the African market in general.
Great, thanks for the intro, Faith. And as you mentioned, although I am not physically in Africa, my heart is always in Africa, 24/7. So yes, I have been in the crypto space since 2017, and I've experienced through a few cycles. And I have seen a huge rise in demand for crypto, not just in Asia, but globally. I've seen big numbers, billions being passed through. I have experience with two major exchanges, and we saw a gigantic rise in demand for crypto, and that got me really interested in crypto. And not just the numbers, but why there was such a huge demand for crypto, besides from being being interesting or fun. And I relayed that thought into Africa, which already moves billions in money through, but mostly on mobile wallets, such as M-Pesa, which Wanjiku rightly described. But none of them had access to crypto. None of the M-Pesa users had access to anything else that was being offered to them, and it was very centralized control. And I saw that there was a big problem with people being used to think that mobile money was enough. Because most of the generation grew up with that, thinking that this is what they had. And but once you have access to Web3, once you have access to other opportunities in terms of not just investments, but in terms of diversifying your portfolio, also sending money, interacting with others, just like an internet, and interacting with other opportunities when it comes to investment. So I wanted to bridge that mobile money system and the blockchain economy, basically. So it is an infrastructure project. However, it goes beyond the infrastructure of just building bridges. We're actually enabling a digital access for young Kenyans to be digitally and financially, and to have the freedom, to have the sovereignty of financial freedom and digital freedom. So Gochapa is going to be the first licensed mobile first gateway, which can connect users from M-Pesa into blockchain. So in a blockchain jargon, we're called the fiat on and off ramp. Basically, what that means is if you use M-Pesa, then you can use Gochapa very easily to have access to Web3. Not just Web3, but other opportunities that are out there which hasn't been available to you, or you had to go through a certain process which was not as easy for newcomers. So that is the problem we're trying to solve. I'm sure at this point you're thinking, what is a on-ramp and what is an off-ramp? It's not a very difficult terminology. What that means is basically we are offering an infrastructure where you don't have to change the way you interact. But if you're already using M-Pesa, then you can use Gochapa directly to have access to thousands of other opportunities. And on this new economy, I get a lot of questions asking me, how can the young generation of Kenyans make money in blockchain? Which meme coin do I have to buy? A lot of times when I do seminars in Kenya, for example, I love the energy. I love people are very enthusiastic and they ask me a lot of questions, but most of the questions are directly linked to how can I make money fast? And I always tell them, I've been in the financial industry for a very, very long time, almost more than 30 years. And there is no way to make money fast. There is no written book on making money fast. However, what the new economy offers you is an opportunity for you to engage in a new kind of job opportunities. So I usually advise young people who come to seminars to start trading, even OTC, become an intermediary, feel how the blockchain space is being worked physically, and then also become a liquidity provider, really dive into the real space and the real utility of blockchain, and then try to make some passive income, which is always a good start. I think OTC, usually I've experienced in new economies, not just in Asia, but in the US as well. When blockchain and crypto takes off, the first active trades are always done on OTC, not in exchanges, but in OTC, peer-to-peer. And this is where you have a really good opportunity to see how the economy works and how the economy can really, really scale up. So I always encourage young people coming into blockchain to have that experience. You can make a passive income and see what you can do from there. And also, I have a lot of people asking me, what kind of jobs are available in Web3. And, once you have access to Web3, there's tons of other projects, different kind of projects. There are infrastructure projects, there's gaming projects, there's DAO, which is decentralized, autonomous organizations. There's platforms, there are, different sorts of projects. There's so many things going on in Web3 that if you have a skill set, that you can bring on your skill set and and offer your skill sets to one of these projects. Whether you're a developer, whether you're a content creator, whether you're in design, art, marketing, there's so many services that you can provide. So I always emphasize on that as well, as opposed to just being a Web 2, where Web 2 is big and but it's not as scaling up as fast. I think, and also it tends to be very overcrowded. However, in Web 3, there you can offer. You can find opportunities where your skill sets will be more valuable. And then also, I always encourage the young participants in seminar to try meme coins. You can gamble a little bit, but not fall into it. So what that means is understand what's behind, what's driving this technology. I'm not against meme coins. I don't trade meme coins, but I'm not against it. I'm actually for it, and I believe there is a driving force behind everything in the economy, and there's something to be learned from everything. So I always tell them, trade some meme coins, don't fall into it. If you make some money kidogo, that's good, but don't expect to become rich in few days. That is not gonna happen. So I think I've covered some of the concerns that I had and questions that I had on new economy. If I have time, I would also like to maybe focus on some community building in Web3. I've experienced that through my experience in crypto. The community in crypto is very strong. It's very, I think the community is very sticky, and it's very interactive. And I love the enthusiasm that the community brings into the group. For example, even for Gochapa, we have a very strong community and always interactive. And I love seeing feedbacks, and I love seeing questions from them. So even today, if you have any comments and feedback, please provide them here, or if not, in one of our socials. We'll be very happy to come back to your feedback or questions. And my final note is the last questions I always get is what's next for Gochapa? Since we have now launched, we've done a soft launch. We're not licensed yet. As you know, the bill is still under consideration for the virtual asset service provider license. But at this point, we're still building a lot of the backbones of what's going to be the wholeness of Gochapa. For example, we're looking into microloans, savings, stablecoin payments. Stablecoins are, I believe, going to be a very, very important infrastructure going forward for all of the developing countries, not just Africa, but whole of Asia and Europe as well. And I believe in the next 10 years, you'll be trading more stablecoins than your own currency, if you're not already doing that, actually. And we've seen a huge interest in stablecoins in Kenya, not just in Kenya, but whole of East Africa. And I think the stablecoin payments is going to probably take over, unfortunately, the local currencies in the next 5 to 10 years. And also with Gochapa, you'll be able to fund your business, and you'll be able to have an opportunity to diversify your assets in your local currency. So you're escaping inflation and deflation and deflationary pressure of the currency as well. So long term, we're trying to build not just an infrastructure, but an opportunity for you to participate in the new economy and find your ways to make your income going forward. So that is the future we're trying to build at Gochapa. So if I may pass the mic back to Faith.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam, for that amazing introduction of what Gochapa is and what we're currently doing and what we aim to do. You've brought up very important points, and I'll want to now invite Arnold. Sam has mentioned different crypto assets. He has mentioned meme coins, and I'll just want to say how the crypto market usually is. We all know the crypto market never sleeps. So I just want you, Arnold, to tell us from AI tokens to meme coins to the everyday trends that are coming up when it comes to crypto. And I'm bringing this because one of the major questions that I'm sure we all get when we interact with people and we tell them we're in the crypto and blockchain space is trading. The first thing that comes to their mind is trading, if not scamming. It's trading. So if you can just tell us what are some of the important things that you usually tell your people who come to the Apex Crypto Academy, what are some of the cautions that you usually tell them, and what also the importance of learning for them to, to be cautious not to fall into the traps of scams.
Great, thank you so much, Faith. When it comes to crypto, crypto is very, very huge, and there's one important element that people should always understand. You see, in crypto, we have two broad categories. In that, you can either have what you call a coin, or you can have something to call a token. Now, in most cases, people only think that Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that we have, but in reality, we have over, I think, a million cryptos as at now, and every single day we have new coins being developed, we have new tokens being developed, and that makes the industry to be robust and lively on a 24/7 economy. Now, when it comes to the issue of identifying good projects and scam projects and other platforms, I'm going to categorize this into two important elements. We now have what you call the coins and the projects, and now we have what you call now the platforms. When it comes to coins and projects, now for example, you want to buy a coin. I don't just go and buy a coin blindly because it's hyped. Maybe everyone talking about that particular coin, you want to buy it. You don't do that. Number one, it's always very, very important to understand if that coin or that token has any utility around it. When I talk about utility, I mean this is how easy or what are the use cases on that particular project. For example, we all know that the main utility for Bitcoin is basically transaction purposes because people use Bitcoin to pay for money, to pay for other goods and services. They use Bitcoin for transactions. So before you buy a coin or a token, check the utility of that particular coin or that particular token. Number two, check the team behind that particular project. And this apply mostly in tokens because of what you call a coin and you have what you call a token. Mostly coins are independent because they run on their own native blockchains. For example, the Sol blockchain, the Ethereum, the BNB, the BTC. And now tokens, they are dependent on coins because for you to have a token, it must run on an existing particular blockchain. So check the team behind that particular token because you have so many teams that are pulling what you call rug pulls, they're pulling what you call honeypots, and in most cases, you'll always get that these addresses are interlinked in one way or another. So always check the team behind that particular token. You can of course scan the contract address using the various avenues that we have. We have very advanced things today. For example, we have bots that can able to scan a contract. They can give you a token score, and that can act as a good guideline to allow you to either buy a token or not buy a given token. Something else, of course, look for what you call bot activities in a token mostly because at times a good project can be deployed on the next platform. Once that token has been deployed, we have so many bot activities that are buying that token actively, buying it using different wallets, and then all of them is just a command. Once you execute a command, all the bots sell off that token, and you're gonna see a very bearish engulfing candle forming on the chart, and that's how you're gonna lose money by participating in such a shitty project. So always ensure that you check for those three important elements before you commit your money in either a coin or a token. And now, the other part about platforms, because in layman's language or in the most simple way, people in Kenya and Africa don't like to go the long way. If you come and tell someone, go through this, learn ABCD, then from there you're gonna harvest XYZ. They don't want that. What they want is something that can give them instant returns. I wanna put my million Kenya shillings here, I wanna put my $20,000 here, and I wanna see returns coming in instantly. So when you come up with a product that tells people I'm gonna be giving you X amount after X amount of time, they're gonna flock on that particular platform. And before you get engaged in such platform, number one, understand what the project is doing. Very, very important to know where the money is coming from. I can't come and tell you, I'm going to be giving you 5% every single day. What are you doing in the background to be able to generate this 5% every single day? So understand first where the money is coming from. Once you understand where the money is coming from, you can now go in boldly because you know even if things go south, this and this is what was happening on that particular platform. So those are the main important things that you should always look out for before you decide to commit your money, either in a project, in a platform, in a coin, or in a token. Back to you, Faith.
Thank you so much, Arnold. You've brought up very important points, and I'll want to tie your points. I'll want to bring in Ochieng from Web3 Developer Clubs to tell us, because projects, obviously, the people who are behind projects are developers. And I'll just want to ask you, Ochieng, for Web3 Developers Club, how do you, help people who are moving from who are just curious about blockchain, how they can be able, maybe they have an idea or they have coding skills from Web2. How do you help these people learn and transition that learning into them being able to earn within their space?
All right, thank you. So the first step for anyone entering Web3, the Web3 space, is really to understand Web3, and the entry point for most people is normally, of course, looking for money. So people mostly find themselves engaging in something like trading or P2P, exchanging of money. But to really take full advantage of the opportunities in the space, it's important to really understand what the technology is about and the opportunities that it offers, right? The best way to do this is to join a community, such as Web3 clubs. So most of our members, we have very many members, right? Close to 5,000, but not all of those members are developers. And some of them are just people who are curious about crypto and curious about blockchain, Web3, like what is all this stuff. So get yourself to join any one of the many core communities that we have in the country or even across the world. Be active, ask a lot of questions, and follow up on links and tweets and any kind of information that you get. So once you have a good grasp of what the technology offers or what the space offers, then now you're in a better position to take advantage of what appeals to you. So although we are largely a developer community, our community comprises of people who have skills across different fields. So we have a lot of creatives, we have people in law, we have designers, lawyers. People in design, law, content creators. The list is endless, right? So Web3, just like any other industry, requires people from different skill sets, right? as Sam had mentioned. So yeah, get into a community. There's opportunities all over. The different protocols. There's different protocols, or let me say, blockchains that are looking for talented people who could be builders, developers. They're looking for marketers. So an example I'd give is the space is struggling with communicating. Like, if you ask a typical person in Web3 what blockchain is, they may struggle to explain it to you in a way that you would understand easily. And you can only imagine that that's someone who is in the space, who has been in the space for a long time. So you can imagine how difficult it is for people trying to enter the space to basically kind of get what's going on. So I'd say for people who have got skills in communications, writing, design, people who can communicate ideas, I think there's a lot of opportunity for you there. Blockchains such as Base and L2 on Ethereum is even Lisk. These guys are really supporting people who are in the creative space to help people understand what the space is about. We've got people in law who are helping people structure their startups, businesses, legislation, building policy around blockchain. So I'd say the opportunity here is that if you look at all these fields, so let's say Web2 or law or the creative space, most people who participate in those spaces are facing a lot of competition because those spaces have been around for a long time. There's a lot of skilled people in the space. So I think Web3 offers an opportunity for people to provide a niche or to set themselves aside, as experts in a new technology that is the future. And I think going that route will open up doors for you.
Sorry, we can't hear you clearly, Ocheng.
Oh, for real? Wow, I've been going on for almost.
Sorry,
Okay,
the last
so where
part we
did
wanted
you?
people to hear.
Oh, which part? Which part did you leave me on?
If you can just summarize everything that you've just said, to just give us a summary, tying it to non-techies, because you've brought up a very good point, because most people usually think when they hear Web3 Developers Club, they'll think Web3 Developers Club is just a club for developers. And it's very inspiring to hear that there's so many creatives within the space, and that creatives can be able to also, just come into the space and create value, and while creating value, they can also be able to create an income for themselves. So, yeah, I think that's part of the summary.
Yeah. So in summary, what I was referring to was that Web3 is kind of a new tech space that is definitely the future of the internet, right? It's the new internet, and it has room for everyone to take part in it, right? So not only the developers and builders who either build blockchains or build applications on blockchain, but anyone who has got some value that they're already providing in other spaces. So, for example, legal, for example, creatives, content creators, designers, writers. Actually, writers. I was just talking to a writer the other day. I think writing is one of the most underappreciated skills in the world. So Web3 is a big economy, right? I think it has. I think it's around a $3 trillion economy if you factor in all the assets in the ecosystem. So there's a lot of opportunity there. So just come, join our community, understand what the technology is about, see how you can contribute. A lot of the contribution could be through helping people communicate what blockchain is. There's many companies who have products and are struggling to even communicate what they're selling, right?
Yeah. Sure.
We need educators, we need mentors. So the opportunity here in summary is you're coming to a niche space which doesn't have a lot of competition, unlike the other spaces that most of these guys are coming from, right? So like lawyers, there's tons of lawyers in Kenya in criminal and civil law. Come to Web3, see how you can play a part. There's a lot of opportunity for you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ocheng. I like what you've just said about content creation and education, because one of our panelists is actually a content creator in writing. Wanjiko, you do blogs. We know you in the space as a blogger and as a woman who has made a name for herself in the crypto space as a content creator. And you've used content to educate and to inspire. I just want to understand, what role does content creation play in helping people understand and adopt blockchain, more so in Kenya?
Okay, thank you so much. So I'll start by saying that actually content is everything. Basically, as Andrew Kibe says, that content is king. So in simple terms, content helps to demystify, or rather it breaks the gap between ignorance and knowledge. So because mostly, if you mention a word like blockchain, most people will assume maybe people like Ocheng are the people who are supposed to know these things. It mostly resonates like a techie thing. Or if you mention crypto mostly in this Kenyan context, people will associate that with scam. So with content, we are able to demystify this through educational content, or rather educational material classes, and this will help in bridging that gap between ignorance and knowledge. So content just ends up showing that crypto and blockchain is in simple words, is basically for everyone and not just for the gigs.
Yeah, that's 100% true. And thank you so much for what you're doing. You're doing such an amazing job with educating people. And for even for our viewers, one thing we have picked from all the speakers who have spoken so far is everyone has touched on education. So that's how much education matters in this space. And it being a new space, we're seeing education is a very key thing. And also, I'll want to bring in Nelly from Ledger Lady, and you guys are also doing education, but you're centered. Your niche is on women, educating women in this space that is ideally, the tech world is usually seen as a male-dominated field, but I like that we are changing the narrative, more so in the Web3 space. It being a new era for the internet, I also hope and pray that it will be also a new era for women, and you'll see women leading, and thanks to projects like Ledger Lady. So, Nelly, if you can just tell us what are some of the unique challenges that women face when stepping into the blockchain space? What are some of the challenges that you guys have encountered?
Perfect. And maybe before I start talking about the challenges, maybe I would want to add on what Ocheng and Wanjiku have talked about, content creation in regards to the blockchain space. So there are a number of platforms that enable you to earn from your content creation. So first of all, let's say you are a writer. There's a platform called paragraph.xyz. You could just go to that link. Paragraph.xyz is just, it's ideal for writers to, it enables you to publish your articles, and then you can monetize that through crypto native subscriptions. And then there's a platform called mira.xyz, which is a decentralized publishing platform where you can crowdfund and tokenize for your content. And then there's another platform on Base called Zora. Zora is like Instagram, but then on chain, where every post you make is minted as an NFT, and then when people buy or sell that NFT, you get to earn from your post. So, and then they're just very many platforms where you could earn, and then also let's say you're a community manager, then you could earn from that, where you manage online communities, you moderate forums, Discord servers, organize events for blockchain projects. You could also earn from that. And then, participating in decentralized organizations, the DAOs. Yeah, and then now onto the challenges. I think one, for me, it was underrepresentation in the crypto space when I got in, or in the blockchain space when I got in. I think I didn't see a lot of women in leadership, and they were significantly underrepresented, and this just made me kind of discouraged me a bit, because I was aspiring to be in the crypto space, but then I'm not seeing any woman who can lead me or inspire me. Or I'm not saying they're not entirely there, but they are underrepresented. And so I think, for one thing, to cap that, we would want to establish mentorship programs, and we have some leadership training specifically for women to foster growth and confidence in just taking initiatives to be a blockchain leader. I think also, like you said, it's highly male dominated. But again, myself, I just say that I don't want to say that I'm a woman in this space. I don't come or say, yeah, I'm a woman in this space. No, you just have to see yourself as a normal person. Don't segregate yourself and say, I'm a woman, and that's why I'm not good at this, or I'm not good at what I do. So the imposter syndrome is there, and maybe some intimidation by the men. But again, you just have to be good at just have to be good at what you do, upskill, and just be very good at what you do. That's just it. And then maybe for something, maybe the work-life balance. Myself, I'm in school, and then I'm also working, and then I also have this community. So having to balance between all those things. Sometimes it can be a bit hard. We have also have women who are mothers and they have families, and so it might be hard for them to differentiate the time they want to spend with their families and work and everything. Sometimes you could go for days because you have overwhelming work, and then sleep is you're sleep deprived. So those are just some of the challenges, and yeah, maybe just find a balance. Do not overwork yourself. Just find a balance. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much. And I think to just ask you a follow-up question, you've mentioned something on mentorship. How does Ledger Lady ensure that the women who come to your organization, you help them feel safe and empowered in a space that, it's looked at as a male-dominated space? How do you create that safe and empowering space for them? Lady?
Sorry, I kind of didn't get you. I think maybe it might be my network. Could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. I was just circling back to your point on mentorship and why mentorship is important in this space. And I just wanted to understand how you guys at Ledger Lady you're doing. How are you creating um, a safe and an empowering space for women who are coming into the space who don't have who are shifting from Web 2 to Web 3? Can you hear me? All right. I think I can pose a question to you, Arnold. Still on mentorship. You've mentored so many people through the Apex Crypto Academy, and I just wanted to understand, in your view, what mindset, discipline, because I know those are some of the qualities. So those are some of the things that people usually look out to, or qualities that you're required to have when you're trading. It has to do with your mindset. It has to do with your discipline, and also like certain habits that you have. So I just want to understand from your view, what mindset, what discipline or habits separate successful traders from those who are struggling from burnout, or those who, as you say, those who just want to, wake up, make 1 million out of the blues and have a set life and retire at 2025.
Thank you so much, Faith. You see, trading and mostly crypto is an industry that has been perceived as a quick get rich scheme. And essentially, crypto is not a quick get rich scheme. But if you have the consistency and the patience and you understand the space, most definitely make some very good gains out of this market. And over the past few years, I think I've done this for 4 years now. This is gonna be, I think, my fourth year and maybe even my last year doing crypto mentorship. Before we move on to other bigger things, the key thing that I've realized is that those who primarily focus on learning before earning tend to always become much, much better than those guys who want to jump before the rope. You want to start earning, then you want to learn much, much later. It has to be a process that is synchronized. Learn the process first, learn the basics, understand the space, know how things work. Then from there, go now to the next level, which is now the earning part. Those guys always follow those steps, tend to be more aggressive, and they tend to do much, much better compared to those guys who just want to come and earn, then start learning later on. Some things I've observed is the issue of discipline and patience, especially in trading. If you don't have discipline in trading, you are bound to lose money because one thing that people should do in trading is that they tend to chase their losses. You open a trade, it's your stop loss, you get liquidated. What do you want to do? You want what to call revenge trading. Start doing what you call emotional trading because you're like, you want to get your money back. You're now starting chasing your losses, which of course is not going to end up very, very well. So, of course, discipline, patience, very, very important. Some things that I've observed between these years is what we now call the art of consistency. Because I'll be honest with you guys, crypto is an industry that keeps evolving every now and then. What happened or what was happening in the early 2000s, early 2010s is not what is happening right now. Back then, we didn't have things like smart contracts. We only had platforms like on Bitcoin.com. You go on P2P, buy BTC, hold, sell much later. But as of today, we have had so many evolutions, so many inventions in crypto. And if you sleep on this industry, you realize that what you know today is not what shall be there tomorrow. Today, people are even these scammers, they're using some very old techniques to scam people. Asking someone to give you money, giving them 10% a day is an old technique to scam people. Scammers are evolving because they are moving now with the technology. So always ensure that you are consistent and you keep learning new skills, keep upscaling your knowledge, and that will ensure that you stay in the loop and you're not left behind in this particular industry of crypto. And lastly, you need to understand that losses are part of the game. You will not win all the time. Not all your coins are going to do well. Not all your tokens will end up doing very well. So always understand that losses are part of the game. You might win sometimes, you might lose sometimes, but always ensure that your wins are outshining or are rather outsmarting your losses. And that's gonna give you a very good stepping stone on this industry of crypto.
Great. That's great advice. If yeah, for traders, that's something that everyone should be able to take, whether you're a trader or you're just in the space in whatever way, or you're getting into the space in whatever capacity. That's something that we should all keep in mind. Speaking of skills, because skills are in this space usually experience that most people don't even care about what I mean, papers. Let's just call it for what it is. It's not a space where people will come and you ask for all your certificates, you come with them. What really matters in this space and what makes it even more interesting is the skills. What are you bringing to the table? What can you be able to do? And I'll just want to ask Ocheng, for blockchain developers, somebody who wants to get into the blockchain space, but as a developer, what are some of the most in demand skills right now? And how can someone who's beginning in this space, how can they be able to build?
Hello. Okay. Can you confirm that I'm clear?
Yes, you are.
All right. Yeah. So blockchain technology did not come from space, right? It's founded in a lot of previous areas of expertise. So basically, if so, there's different levels, right? So if you have a tech background, there's many areas in which you can come in and grow in the space. So if you have a passion for, let's say, design, right? A Web3 space, let me say, like applications built on blockchain called dApps, also require good design skills. So if you're someone who is really good at creating user interfaces, if you're good at creating or conceptualizing like a good user experience, that goes a long way. So in terms of front-end development and design, if you're a good programmer, then there's an opportunity for you in being a developer in either as a smart contract developer. So smart contracts really is how a lot of applications on blockchain work. These are self-executing programs. So yes, so if you have strength in that area, you could come in as someone who's building applications for different clients in the space or even the blockchains themselves. So that's a skill that is important. You could also come in as a protocol engineer. So this means now you're working on, let me say, the heart of the blockchain. So an example I would give is, think of protocol engineering as, like, think about a computer. So let's say if you're using Windows or Linux or something. So instead of building applications for Windows, you'll be now working on the Windows kernel or on the Linux kernel as a contributor. So there's good money in that as well. The security and auditing. So as we've been talking about, blockchain thrives on it being, a secure platform, right? And applications built on blockchain also need to be very secure. Some of the biggest use cases in blockchain are these things called DeFi. So DeFi stands for decentralized finance. Basically, people are putting a lot of assets in terms of, like digital assets, basically money on a lot of these applications, and these applications need to be secure. So when let's say a smart contract developer builds an application on a blockchain, they knew, as someone who is passionate about, security, right, could come in and audit applications, see if they're secure, and security improves trust in the space, right? I'm sure you've heard of a lot of scams or hacks in the space. So someone who is passionate about security can come in and audit smart contracts and just help secure Web3 as a whole. Of course, there's DevOps and node operators. So you might be into running servers, into managing cloud systems and stuff like that. There's room for that for guys who are already doing that in the Web2 space. Maybe running things like AWS and DigitalOcean and stuff like that. So in Web3, you'd come in to set up validators, basically running this infrastructure that runs the blockchain. There's also an area called DePIN. So this is decentralized physical infrastructure. So our blockchain is, as we said, the infrastructure that runs the blockchain is not centrally owned by one organization or like one individual, right? So for the Web3 network or the blockchain network to grow, the way it works is that it requires people to contribute competing resources to sustain that ecosystem. So actually, this is one of the most, I think, underappreciated fields, areas in Web3. And if you're looking to make investments, I'm a community run by a friend of ours. One of our members called Chiza. So he's an expert in decentralized physical infrastructure. So just imagine, maybe you're running, you have a computing device in your house, or maybe something that is running in your car, and it does mapping or is reading weather. So these are kind of different devices that contribute to the physical infrastructure of blockchain, and by running these nodes, you get to earn money every month. So it is one of the best ways of earning passive income, right? Because once you set it up, you basically just let it run. And apparently, I think the deficit in terms of, I don't have the figures with me, I wish I had them, but basically the gap in terms of where the infrastructure is right now versus where it could be, we are literally, I think, under 15% or something like that. So think of it as an investment, right? You are investing in an economy that has the potential to scale by maybe 80 to 90%, right? So buying these devices, learning how to set them up, is also a big opportunity, and the skills needed to do that are things that you can acquire now. So I think in terms of technical skills, I'd leave it at that. And maybe just touch on maybe one more thing. If you are an entrepreneur, so the blockchain space is very tech heavy. It's because the people who started it were techies, and the community is just full of kind of tech junkies, let me say. But then these builders struggle from kind of building solutions that are easily adapted by normal users. So I'd say if you're someone who's a passionate problem solver, or you're just good at figuring things out and seeing the problems and figuring how to get solutions to the market, there's a big opportunity for you as a tech founder. You do not necessarily have to be a technical founder, but you at the very least have to understand the space well enough to identify the opportunities that you can give to the market. So product thinking, entrepreneurship, pitching, sales, marketing. These are some of the ways that you can get into the space and get something out of it as well.
Thank you so much, Ucheng. You've seriously dropped some amazing gems, and I just want to tell our listeners that this whole session is recorded and it will be on the Go Chapa's YouTube platform. So if something has missed you, or you'll want to, just listen back to what is being said, whereby you can just sit down with your pen and your paper, and you can just write all the skills and all the different ways that we are mentioning on how guys can be able to make money in this space. Please do so. The recording will be on the Go Chapa YouTube channel. I'm seeing Sam is here with us. Sam, I thought you had left the call. If I can just pose a question to you. Now, Ucheng has given us technical skills that people can be able to use within the blockchain ecosystem and be able to make money from that. I just want you to tell me from your experience, what are some of the realistic and accessible ways that non-technical people or anyone can be able to get into without need for deep technical skills, and how can they be able to make money without technical skills, or even without capital? Maybe you don't even have money to invest into a project or to fund a project. What are some of the other non-technical skills that young people can leverage on within the space?
Thank you, Faith, for including me. Yes, I'm still a bystander. I was listening in because the panel was so interesting, and you guys brought up some really good points, and so I was recording this. I think that's a very essential question, and what advice I can give to the young generation of smart Kenyans moving into the space, or interested, or having any sort of interest but fear, because in the media it's more interesting to talk about the bad things rather than the good things on the media. No one wants to read good things on the news, right? It's boring. Yeah. But so there's been a lot of emphasis on the negatives of blockchain and all the failures and all the scams. But as opposed to that, there's a lot more positives that come from a new economy like the blockchain, which has already now been around for more than 10 years. It has created millions of jobs, millions of good jobs. When I say good, relatively higher pay, higher scalability, and new opportunities. Ucheng mentioned good points about designers coming in with a different kind of skill set. And not only that, and that in a way created meme coins. If you think about it, meme coins is all about design and creativity that didn't exist, and there was no, and it just created a way for designers and creators to have an access to a new kind of passive income, which was meme coins. And I thought that was a good way to illustrate how how the industry can foster and also push for new ideas being generated, and at the same time getting paid for it. I think it's very important when you have some kind of contribution, either productive or even not productive. But if you're contributing to something, there has to be a financial benefit to it. I always believe in that. And I think through blockchain, we've now leveraged not just getting paid per hour, but you're actually getting paid per your creativity and your imaginative designs which which can have access to a global audience, not just to your in your region. So previously it was NFT, and now it's mint coins. Mint coins are the thing. Is the most talked about coins for this year. And who knows? Next year there's going to be another kind of coins that's going to come out from a new skill set that we haven't even been looking into. So this is the kind of stuff that really, which is really exciting for this industry. And what I can tell the young people coming into the industry is just to have an experience. Come in. You don't have to get the perfect job in the first try. Just get your skin in the game. Do some OTC deals, trade a little bit. Even mint coins, just trade a little bit. And just try to understand how this industry works, how the framework works, how blockchain works. And once you have an idea of how the technology behind it, it's there, but you just don't see it sometimes, but and that is why people say is, the trust is there. You just don't see it. You just feel it. And once you have that trust in the industry, there's going to be so many other opportunities for you to bring what you're good at into this industry. So that's what I can tell the young Kenyans coming into crypto.
That's interesting. Thank you so much for that. It's something that even us who are here can pick and implement as well. I just want to bring Wanjiko in and just bring some fun topic into this. And I think I kind of have an idea of what your answer will be, but I just want you to tell us what from the blogs and the content that you create, what topics have you found that are the ones that you get most engagement on, based on the topic? What sparks people interest when you write something or when you post a post on your socials?
Okay, thank you so much. So just to start off, that is what we call the search intent, or rather what people, or rather most people are searching on. And just to mention, the most, or rather even me personally as I was starting out, what I wanted to know in depth is crypto same as forex trading? That is always the major searcher's intent. Then number two, how do I start earning? Or a similar question is always, how do I invest? Then number three is, how do I get started in the crypto world? Then some concerns, is crypto a scam? Is it a Ponzi scheme? Is it betting and stuff like that? Then lastly, and this I'm actually noticing this recently, that how can I make a living out of crypto, or what they call Web3 and the blockchain? Yeah. So basically the 5 of those.
Interesting. If you can just tell us, how do you simplify them without losing the depth or meaning to what exactly that you want, what it is, and what crypto is, and what you'll want to relate to the consumers of your content? How do you simplify without losing the depth of meaning?
My best advice to people who ask, can I make a living to crypto, or any other questions that I've raised, is that I always tell them, number one thing you need to have when you're joining crypto, or rather when you're coming to the crypto world, is patience. And not just patience, but patience to learn, or you are eager to learn. That's the first thing that you need to do. So if you come to my website, you'll find that I've broken down the cryptocurrency course in simpler words, from the initial thing of what is Bitcoin, what is cryptocurrency, before you even dive into the how to make money, how the different ways. Remember, in crypto you have over 15 ways of making money in that field. So before you even dive into the specifics, the number one thing we do is we start
Yeah.
with the simplest of the simplest things. What is crypto? What is blockchain? What is Bitcoin? Because most people actually will assume Bitcoin is the only crypto. So we'll also define what is Bitcoin, and then slowly merge into the rest of the over 10 million cryptocurrencies. Then after that, now we can now discuss about how you're going to make money. So initially, the first thing that one needs to do is to have the basic of the basic knowledge in the crypto world.
That's amazing, and I can attest to that. I've gone through your website. I've also watched your videos on YouTube. They're very educative, and there's no use of the hard jargon that we're used to within the Web3 space. So even for a newbie in the space, they can be able to watch and get an understanding of what blockchain and what crypto is, based on depending on what it is that what kind of content or what kind of knowledge they're looking into consuming. So you're doing an amazing job. Nelly, I can see that you're back. If I can just I was asking you a question on mentorship, and we understand that mentorship matters when you're giving education and when you're giving guidance to people who have come and they want to understand a certain area. And I just, you had mentioned something to do with mentorship within the space, how you guys mentor women. And I just want to understand if you can just tell us, how is Ledger Lady helping create a safe space, or even how you're empowering women within the Web3 space?
Ah, yeah, fantastic question. Sorry about earlier, I had a technical glitch.
It's
So I
okay.
think so mentorship, just you have to have the mindset of that you are not a gatekeeper and you're just here to you're a bridge builder, right? So
Yeah.
when women cross over from other fields, whether it's finance, education, art, any other field, we just tell them that first of all you're not behind. You're just bringing different kind of wisdom that no one can replicate the wisdom that you're offering or you're bringing to the space. And at this point, we have just to be empathetical and not handle you with ego. So basically, we have to deconstruct the myth that you must be technical to matter. So when you're
Yeah.
coming into our community, we have to deconstruct that myth that you're not required to be 100% technical, so that yeah, you're part of Ledger Lady. No, because the blockchain ecosystem is wide and it has so many faces. It's multifaceted. So we have writers, we have storytellers, we have designers, educators, we have community builders. So all of you guys are essential and all of them are essential. So you don't need to deploy a smart contract. Maybe you could deploy some trust, deploy some culture. So yeah, basically just deconstructing the whole need of you must be technical to matter. And then another thing that we do to create safe space for our women who are coming into a community is we give them a space where they can ask questions, and those questions are not treated as you're a newbie or you're weak, but just ask those questions because that shows how curious you are. And yeah, but we have to be very intentional. So that means having beginner friendly onboarding, mentorship circles within our community. We have different ladies in our community who are way more advanced than the newbies. So we each assign them a lady they could mentor. So that means a mentorship circles. We have open office hours. They happen every Friday, where we just talk to our ladies. What have you done? What did you want to get done this week? What have you done? What was the challenges that you were facing? So office hours, and yeah, just normalizing being new, right? And
Yeah.
also, I feel like we have to be led by or lead the ladies by being vulnerable, where we just like we've stumbled upon what you facing right now. We face the imposter syndrome. We've been the only woman in the room sometimes, and yeah, we still stayed. We still pushed on. So and sometimes it's just not that Ati, it was easy, or I mean, yeah, I could do it. But when you're a woman and you see a real story of a woman who has made it, then you get more encouraged to even write your story and move forward. So, mentorship is not a transaction. It's not, I give you this, you give me this. It's more of a transformation. We just pour into you, we pour into one woman, and we guide you, and yeah, we're gonna change your story. So just don't see we don't see it as a transaction. So let's we welcome the ladies, and we don't give you the pressure to catch up. Or there's a lot of course right now the web3 space is evolving so much, and there's so much pressure to what should I do, which field should I focus on. So just take it slow. Be ready to always learn and be open to being curious. And that's why I said that we encourage our ladies to ask questions, ask any question, and because we can only make it together. The only part is that we can make it together is the part that we go together. So yeah, I think that's what we do to empower our ladies and create a safe space for them. And then I think another thing is also, after now you are in the space, we now just expose you to so many other communities like Web3 clubs. We have so many other communities, so having partnerships with those communities also is a great thing, as you get to interact with other people in the spaces, other women, and get to hear from them and get encouraged. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nelly. Indeed, you guys are doing an amazing job from all that you've said, and also what we've been able to see online, and also with the women that we've been able to also interact with from the ecosystem who are part of Ledger Lady. We can be able to see that you guys are doing an amazing job. In the interest of time, we're gonna tackle some of the questions that we've gotten as we wind up. We're almost 1 hour 30 minutes in. I'm seeing one question. If I can just pin it, it's what was the moment you realized blockchain or Web3 or crypto is not just a trend? If everyone can just give me their response in a very short, summarized way. At what moment did you realize that crypto or blockchain is not just a trend and that it's here to stay? Whoever is ready can go first.
Or maybe if you can take that, in all, or basically in every element of life, the need to understand how something is working, and the time you're able to actually do that's something practically is when now you understand that this thing works like this and not as people are putting it out there. In my own personal case, when I realized how blockchain was actually working, the fact that you can actually track down a transaction from where it came from, where it has gone to, and the other places where that transaction has worked, of course, you realize that right now blockchain is working. In terms of Web3, when you're actually able to use Web3 in real life cases, for example, using some EMSs to send out money, you realize now that Web3 is working in crypto. When you're able to see your asset growing, your assets are growing in value, you put in your money is growing, your money is in value, you know that it is working, it's not a trend. So the minute you understand something and the minute you start doing that thing practically, that is now when you realize that so this thing is working like this and not as people have always purported it to be working. Those are my 2 cents on Ruben Nguyo.
All right, thank you, Arnold. Anyone else who's ready to respond to that? What was the moment that you realized that crypto, Web3, or blockchain is not just a trend, that it's actually here to stay?
Maybe I'll go next. So for me, it has never really been one moment. It's always been, I think, that experience through different things. So I started off as trading, but I think the realization that when I'm holding my crypto, the crypto is really mine. Yeah. And I really have the power to hold these assets, and they're truly, truly mine. There's no bank in between. So that's the permissionless aspect. The realization that it's the technology that is going to kind of free us really from a lot of what's holding us down. from things like inflation, you know, politics, stuff like that. I think that really struck a chord with me. Yeah, that's my take.
That's interesting. When we started, Nelly gave a very good definition of blockchain economy, and she mentioned ownership. So yeah, that's a very good point on ownership. When you own something, you feel like it changes the whole perspective. Anyone else would want to tell us the moment they realized that crypto is here to stay and it's not just a trend?
I would also agree with Ochi. It's not always one moment, but everyday experiences when you're interacting with the crypto and the blockchain world. But one striking moment for me was just seeing, and like Arnold has mentioned, you could track a transaction from its origin and to where it's going. Like everything is publicly accessible. Like for example, when you could see a high profile, so there's some very high profile hacks that have happened recently. There was a Bybit hack, but because hackers can move billions of dollars, but due to the transparency of the blockchain, people can track every step of the stolen funds, and you can see as they're moving from one wallet to another when they are laundered in exchanges. And it's just fascinating to see how we can use these analysis tools that can track these funds. I think that has been like the very striking moment, and it just shows how how transparent the blockchain is. So yeah, like okay, like blockchain transparency does not just allow for visibility. It just allows for accountability. You could trace a transaction, verify ownership, and see how funds are moving. I think that was just the most striking thing for me. Yeah.
Interesting. I'll also want to agree with both of you that it's not just a moment, it's every day that you realize actually it's here to stay. I'm sure even as we gear up to celebrate Bitcoin Pizza Day, the person who bought Bitcoin using the person who bought pizza using his Bitcoin didn't think that Bitcoin was actually here to stay, or it will get to where it has gotten. So yeah, it's everyday moment that we realize it's actually here to stay, and we are embracing it, even with the whole regulation story. Everything is happening. All right. Anyone else? I don't want to lock anyone out before we give our final remarks. Anyone else who would want to share with us? All right.
On the same question?
Sorry?
On the same question? Or you're asking the audience?
No, yeah, you. I'm asking the panelists. If you can just
okay.
tell us.
Okay, so mine is very vague, materialistic, or what you can call selfish. But for me, the moment I realized crypto Web3 is not a trend is when I saw big companies or big celebrities like Elon Musk, Tesla, PayPal, and the likes accepting and investing in crypto. And just to add on that, also seeing people, no wonder I said my answer is quite selfish or materialistic. The fact that I saw people earn real money or build careers and even start businesses around crypto solidify the fact that crypto and Web3 is just to stay.
That's a very good perspective, and I'm sure that's what even the people who have not joined the space are still that's something that they're thinking. And it's until we get to a point where we can be able to have real use cases and even have people even have open conversations with people, us who are in the ecosystem, and tell people what crypto is all about. If you're earning in crypto, be open about it. Tell people about it so that people can understand that it's actually here to stay. People are able to earn, and it's also through having conversations like this that we're having. Someone will bump into this video, they'll watch it, and they'll understand. They'll get a different perspective. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for honoring our visit. I'll just want us to do a quick closing discussion, let's not leave our, let's leave our audience with some real takeaways. And I'll request us to keep the answers very short in the interest of time. What are the top 3 most practical ways someone can start earning in crypto today? Any that comes top of your head, Arnold, if you can just tell us the top 3.
Top three ways of earning crypto. Number one, the obvious one, buy and hold. Number two, the other one is spot trading. And for those guys who have no money, don't have to start, do airdrops. We had some major airdrops giving guys some life-changing goals. So top three, buy and hold, the most important one, spot trading to take advantage of market movements, and then airdrops for those guys who don't have to start from.
That's very good response, and it's like you've just taken words out of my mouth. I wanted to save the best for last, but speaking of airdrops, Gochapa is starting an airdrop campaign very soon, so everyone be on the lookout for that. As Arnold has mentioned, airdrops is one of the ways you can be able to earn money, and you can start your crypto journey with airdrops. Anyone else? And I'd like to say, Arnold, for you, they were quite biased based on what you do. And it will make sense because that's your space. Yeah. Ochieng, the 3 most practical ways one can start earning in crypto. What comes?
So to be honest, I'll just go with Arnold, because if you're talking about earning, the now in crypto now, then the most accessible ways are basically involve trading, which is, as Arnold says, holding, P2P, spot trading, futures and stuff like that. So, but then I do not, I'm not a financial advisor. I mean, there's meme coins, which is, the craziest kind of gambling that exists in the world. I don't think it's even gambling, honestly. But yeah, that's the first way to, to kind of get your skin in the game. Of course, my recommendation would be harness the skills and passions that you have already, and just grow gradually in the space. I don't believe in fast money like that. Although airdrops are a thing. They're a good way to get into the space. So by engaging with the different blockchains and the different protocols and different products, like now Gochapa is working on an airdrop campaign. So as you're going through your learning journey in the space, look out for airdrops. There's some requirements. Most of them may be, I'm wanting you to open a wallet or maybe build something on the chain. So yeah, just just dive in, basically. Dive in and take your time. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. You've given a very good disclaimer that whatever we're saying here is not financial advice. And we will want to urge, as much as we're talking about how to get into the crypto and blockchain space and earn from it, kindly do your own research before you put your money anywhere, or before you are told to invest in anything. Kindly do your research. All right. So my second closing point, looking back, what's one thing that you would wish you knew before diving into the space? Something that could have saved you money, it could have saved you time, or even stress. Yeah. Anyone?
Well, maybe I could start with the previous question. I have some few things to add on, especially for the people who are coming from the dev side. There are platforms like Super Team or Solana that you could do some tasks, technical tasks, and then you could earn from that. There is a platform also called On Leaders. Let's say you're an open source contributor, you get paid to contribute to open source project. And as Ochi had mentioned earlier, there's Deepin, where if you invest in a device, actually, you could invest in an ESP32 for the hardware engineers. There's a device called the ESP32. You could mine meme coins using that device. It's as low as $6. So that's another way. Ecosystems are like different blockchain ecosystems. They offer bounties, so you could also tackle those. And also, as Arnold said, airdrops. Yeah, and then something I wish that I knew when I was getting started is that, you know, first of all, I don't have to know everything to get started. You know, I just need to be curious and be in, you know, be vigorous with learning. Because when I was starting out, I thought that I needed to be an expert before I could belong in the space. You know, sometimes you are wondering, am I technical enough? Am I smart enough? But you know, just start messy, and as they say, starting messy is still starting strong. And another thing I wish I knew was the value of building in public, especially as a dev. So, you know, starting when you're learning, please share your learning journey, especially on X or LinkedIn. Just, you know, sharing my learning journey, asking questions out loud, and making mistakes openly. You know, sometimes we're learning and you're like, I'm not going to tell anyone when I'm learning, or just build in public. And I know sometimes it comes with, you know, esteem issues, or you're fearing of people judging you. You write shitty code, that's what they would say, but you know, you keep planning and show them your journey. And then another thing I wish I knew is that being different, like my difference is my distinction. You don't have to follow the trends. You don't have to build what everyone else is building. You don't have to be the loudest dev on tech Twitter or crypto Twitter. You know, yeah, you just don't have to. Don't compare yourself. Don't compare your chapter 1 when you're starting out to someone else's chapter 20. You know, comparison, sorry, is the thief of joy. And sometimes you be looking at, oh my God, he has won multiple hackathons, or they, you know, there's a dev who won multiple hackathons, but they've got the biggest grant, who's building the hottest, you know, deep in project or protocol, whatever. Yeah, like they say that comparison is a thief of joy, and also I think it's the thief of purpose. And just be open. Your journey is deeply personal. You know, some understand things easily, some bloom early, others bloom later. You know, just be yourself and be different. Grind openly, upskill, and just don't stop. You know, I think that's what I wish I knew. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Those are gems for sure, and they will go a long way to assist someone who's getting into this space. Wanjiko?
What I wish I knew when I was starting, it's very simple. I wish I knew that crypto scams do exist. So when I was new, I thought everything and everyone in crypto was legit because they looked successful, or the project looked flashy. So I did not take much time to do my research, and I actually was a victim of scam before I met Arnold. Arnold is an alumni of Apex Crypto Academy. So before I even met Arnold, for me to learn crypto, I was scammed into paying for classes. And just to reckon what Nelia said on the same, another thing I wish I knew before joining crypto, or rather what someone needs to do, is to have patience and the need, or rather the zest to learn. Then do not compare yourself to other people. It is just first step. They are in their 10th, 40th step. So learn to have that patience, that discipline, showing up daily, consistency, showing up scared. Yeah, basically that.
Yeah, thank you so much. That will go a long way. Ochieng?
Yeah. So it's many things. I'll just summarize them quickly. Number one is community and teams. In anything you learn, not even Web3, you know, you go faster when you're exchanging ideas with people. So community helps you get a lot of information in a very short time, in one of the most efficient ways of doing that. Working in teams, especially for founders, there's a lot of solo entrepreneurs who are always doing things on their own. Trust me, once you work in a team, you will never start any project without having at least a partner or two partners or something. So yeah, I cannot overemphasize the benefits and the synergy of that. I'd say number three, dive in. Of course, there's the whole imposter thing. Unajishuku, you are thinking, oh, can I do this? Am I worthy? Yeah, just get your feet wet as much as possible. Also on communities, Discord. Discord is like another universe on its own. So get on Discord, follow tweets, just get as much information as possible. And then I think the last one is whatever you're doing, if you can do it in public. So tweet a lot, keep people posted on your projects, on things that you're doing. It might get you some eyes. What I noticed, I used to have a big fear of speaking in public. And now I kind of understand why celebrities have it so easy. You think about networking, it's you going to an event to get to know someone, right? And then everyone is begging them for the attention. But when it is you who is out there speaking out, holding events, the networking is reversed. It's not you asking people XYZ, it's them now looking for you. So that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned. Yeah.
Great lessons there. We'll find that we all suffer from the same thing. Imposter syndrome is real, but we have to fight it. Arnold, what's something that you knew before you started?
Mine is very simple. What I wished I learned, or what I wished I knew before getting on board, is very simple. Timing the market and not timing the market. Back in 2020, I had so many BTC, sold them off at a price of around $8,000. If I had held on to them, today we'll be speaking of a different story. So timing the market and not timing the market.
Right, that's a very good outro. And thank you so much, everyone. What an incredible session, packed with knowledge, real life experience, and practical takeaways. Huge thank you to all our amazing speakers: Nelly, co-founder of Ledger Lady; Arnold, founder of Apex Crypto Academy; Ochieng, co-founder of Web3 Developer Club; Wanjiko, founder of Kenya Crypto Magazine; and our founder, Sam. Thank you so much for sharing your time, your wisdom, your passion with us tonight. And to everyone who tuned in, thank you so much for being part of this powerful conversation. At Gochapa, we believe the future of finance is inclusive, it's accessible, and community-driven. And tonight, we proved that by having this conversation with these amazing communities. And make sure you check them out. We'll also, if we can be able to link their links on the description to this video that will be uploaded, the recorded video that will be uploaded on YouTube, we will definitely add the links to all their community platforms. We will also add the links to all the different places that Nelly and Ochieng mentioned that we can be able to kickstart certain projects and we can be able to earn. We'll try and see if we can be able to add the links there. If not, we will figure out a way on how we can be able to make that information public. And thank you so much. So whether you're starting in this space or whether you're an OG in this space, let's keep it together. Let's continue learning. Let's continue building each other. Let's continue encouraging each other. And together we'll make this space an amazing space. So thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night.